throw a little Hot Rod Red into this episode of Flicks and Figs. So from Iron Man 3, which was a terrible movie, we get the Mark 22 Hot Rod armor, which looks like a great figure. I've had the Comic Studios Shades Iron Man 1 12th armor in my collection, which was a camo Iron Man, which came up a little short. But if you would like DLX gonna give it to you, then this is the way to go. So that the Flicks part of Flicks of Figs as an opener. Let's do this. So have Friday or Jarvis reschedule any meetings as we suit up and show down. If Hydra start attacking the UN, we'll be ready for them. But even better than that, grab some snacks, a cheeseburger or two if you like, sit back and relax as episode 56 of Flicks and Figs will deliver the latest 6-inch action figure news to you. And with all the multiverse goings on in the MCU, it's interesting that Tony never built a multiverse armor when he was around, although he passed away before that all started. And speaking of a character that's both passed away and another version that's traveled the multiverse, we get a look at S.H. Figarts' Wolverine from Wolverine and Deadpool. So if you want a different version to the Marvel Legends version, and there are a few, then here you go. More of the flicks from Flicks and Figs with this figure. You could line up the Marvel Legends, S.H. Figarts, upcoming Mezco 112, Z-Toys and Diamond Select Wolverine and Deadpools, and have a multiverse of Wolverines and Deadpools on your shelf. That definitely won't be a low point in the collection, but maybe an expensive one. And I mentioned Jarvis earlier, and if you want a DC Butler rather than a Marvel one, here's the 1/12 Joyman Toys Butler. So if you are thinking of getting a Mattel 6-inch Batman, here's a Butler who could look after him. You could pose him with McFarlane Toys Batman, but they would dwarf him. It's out of scale, sir. And we just seen Private Butler, so let's have a Batman so that Alfred can do some private butlering for him. So the Dark Knight Batman and Robin 2-pack is reduced at Amazon US. Even better as you can pick up this Batman at a reduced price so that he can spend more on the private butler, not to be confused with the butler's privates. And you're going to need a Joker to go up against your Batman. And Joker and Punchline from McFarlane are reduced on Amazon US. So again, every penny counts. And if you don't have this set, you can pick them up for a very reasonable price. And from the night skies of Gotham to the streets of old Detroit, bitches leave. Or stay if you want to, there's plenty more good stuff to come. JFS Toys gives us the villains of old Detroit, so you can pit them against your NECA Robocop figures. Robocop is a poor soul, isn't he? These bastards killed him, and he still had to go to work. But if you're not at work and fancy some playtime or toy photography, then NECA Robocop and the JFS villains of old Detroit come make for some fun free time. And I think JFS might have a 6-inch Robocop in the works as well, but one with basic articulation. So NECA Robocop might be the best choice for something a bit more modern and articulated in 7-inch scale. Dead or alive, you're coming with me. And feel free to let me know your thoughts about any action figures in the video comments below. And please do smash that like button, comment and subscribe. And feel free to become a channel member to unlock exclusive content. And Robocop and battle-armoured Cobra Commander seem to have swapping fashion tips, as we got a reveal of digital renders of the next wave of G.I. Joe Classified that goes up for pre-order on April 15th, 2025, and this is definitely one I'll be picking up. A Fred Crimson Guard head would take this release even more next level, but if you've read the G.I. Joe ARAH comics from Skybound recently, you'll see that Cobra Commander has been putting his best men in this suit, whilst he commands battles from the bunker headquarters. So you can have a classic retro card Cobra Commander, and this battle armor one on the shelf if you are a one version of each character collector in the display. And battle armor Cobra Commander isn't the only digital render we got for an April 15th pre-order. We have Major Blood, and this was previously a Cobra Island Target exclusive release and very hard to get. This version comes with additional red deco accents on the bionic arm, and apparently a new logo on his human arm. A lot of people were expecting a retro card release, and this may have changed from retro card to regular release, and we may get another retro card version down the line at some point. And sometimes bionic arms, battle armors or Robocops might break down, and they might need fixing with a wrench. And here's Dreadnought Monkey Wrench, and he looks like he builds things from scrap parts. Shout out to the Full Force Weekly and their viewers, who notice Monkey Wrench wears a car seatbelt around his torso, which is filled with grenades. And Monkey Wrench was a figure I always wanted as a child in the 80s. So I'm very excited for this one. To be honest, I'm excited for them all apart from Major Blood, who I already have. But I'll try and pick up this update at some point, which is pinless. And Monkey Wrench was a character I wanted as a child. But Snake Eyes version 4 was a figure I had in 12-inch form in the early 90s as a teenager. It was a subline of the 90s Action Man line here in the UK, I believe. I also had Duke, and Stalker and Cobra Commander were also available. So this version of Snake Eyes holds a bit of a place in my heart. And the digital render looks decent, but I think the actual figure will look much better. Sci-Fi and the Night Viper were originally also part of this wave, instead of Battle Armor Cobra Commander and Major Blood. So we will see Sci-Fi and Night Viper next, possibly at Yojo June, or maybe even before that, the way these classified reveals and pre-orders are going. And G.I. Joe classified Sergeant Slaughter from the Mercer, and Sergeant Slaughter 2-pack, or at least the test shot, courtesy of JCAN 7 and Full Force Weekly. So that's going to be a 2-pack to build towards Slaughter's Marauders. And apparently the rest of the Marauders are coming. And the Cobra Claw and Female Pilot are coming April 15th. And from flying Cobra vehicles to flying characters with Marvel Legends ROM.
Thanks Mark. Libby here, and here's a look at Marvel Legends ROM, part of the comic wave. That feels very epic heroes, like the early days of Hasbro Marvel Legends. And this outsold well. So there must be a lot of ROM fans out there. And then from Rom the Space Knight, who has traveled the stars and galaxies, we go to Dragonball Z, an alien character Nail, who is from the same species or race as Piccolo. Now this is definitely the Tac-Tac, don't know part of the episode, as I can't nail who this character is. But SH Figarts continue the world building of the Dragon Ball universe on your shelf. And from Dragon Ball Z and Planet Namek to galaxies far, far away, with Kulz_Cave, awesome Star Wars Black Series toy photography. I'll leave a link to Kul's Cave Instagram in the comments below, and also Mikey Moon Boots and Mini Plastic Multiverse, go check them all out. And sticking with Star Wars, here's a look at the Star Wars Black Series Savage Opress, brother to Darth Maul, and he was a very prominent character in the animated Clone Wars series until he and Darth Maul tangled with Darth Sidious. So if you're inspired by Kul's Cave, and want to try some toy photography and adventures of your own using Black Series figures, here you go. And from Savage Opress we go to the main opponent of his brother, Darth Maul, the Jedi who bested Darth Maul in combat, OBWAN from the OBWAN series on Disney+, and I appreciate it's an episode of figures that we have seen in previous episodes of Flicks and Figs, but it's the week after Toylanta and WonderCon. So action figure news might be a bit on the quiet side, but hopefully these are the action figures you're looking for. And that's the Flicks part of the Flicks and Figs of this episode, alongside Robocop, Dragon Ball Z, Iron Man 3 and Deadpool and Wolverine. OBWAN now joins that lineup. What a multiverse of madness that is. And talking of multiverse, we are back again with Marvel Legends Deadpool and Wolverine, and my question is, which characters from Deadpool and Wolverine would you like to see in Marvel Legends, or import format? A Channing Tatum Gambit would be fantastic, as would a Wesley Snipes Blade. Spoiler alert, but if you haven't seen the movie by now, which multiverse have you been stuck in? And Hugh Jackman Wolverine better suit up for battle, as Mikey Moon Boots gives us a look at those men fighting the Sentinels in Marvel Legends form. And speaking of Marvel Legends, for all the latest Marvel Legends news and reviews, check out Dan Who Reviews, and all these other great YouTube channels and UK independent action figure retailers.
And feel free to let me know your thoughts about any action figures in the video comments below. And please do smash that like button, comment and subscribe. And feel free to become a channel member to unlock exclusive content.
And it's been a quiet week for action figure news, after Toylanta and WonderCon. and I'm a little behind in the action figure news. So if you're looking for plenty of YouTube channels to entertain you, here you go, check some of these out. And here are some Figarts characters from Sakamoto Days, an anime about a retired hitman who has to come out of retirement when other hitmen come to take him out. Think John Wick meets Last of the Summer Wine, one for the UK viewers there. And from Sakamoto Days to My Hero Academia, and nothing to do with Last of the Summer Wine, here's Shoto Todoroki. Now this is the Flicks part of Flicks and Figs, and also the Tak don't know part of the video, as I'm aware of My Hero Academia, but no idea who this is. So let me know in the comments below. Have you watched My Hero Academia? Or have you watched Last of the Summer Wine? What about some Last of the Summer Wine action figures? Let me know. And we mentioned Dan Who earlier, and Dan Who is a fan of Power Rangers, and Power Rangers is not a million miles away from Kamen Rider, and Kamen Rider is about a motorcycle-based grasshopper hero who fights monsters. And this is the bitter Gav sparking gummy form, whatever the hell that means. And we saw Longbox Heroes 1/12 the Rocketeer, and supporting villains. I'm hoping to see Savage Dragon, and the Rocketeer was a hero from a pre-Second World War era, who battles the Nazis, and Batman was created in the 1930s, and from the 1930s we rocket to the post-apocalyptic future of the Batman vs Superman world, from none other than Muff Toys. And I guess it really comes down to if you want a post-apocalyptic Batfleck on your shelf. It depends whether you feel Batman vs Superman is still a relevant film, and therefore if action figures from that movie have a place in your collection.
And feel free to let me know your thoughts about any action figures in the video comments below. And please do smash that like button, comment and subscribe. And feel free to become a channel member to unlock exclusive content.
And Mesco 112 gave us a Nightmare Batman back, when the Batman v Superman film was part of Snyderverse relevance. You can see Batfleck using his binoculars to look for its relevance somewhere in these photos, and some critics seem to be getting hold of Batfleck and giving their opinion on the film in these photos. Hopefully Muff Toys' Nightmare Batman is a better figure than the movie. And McFarlane are giving us even more Batman, with the Big Bad Toy Store exclusive Grim Knight Black and White Accent Edition, and it's certainly presented nicely, if it's a somewhat unnecessary repaint in my opinion, but from two unnecessary Batman to maybe one that is more iconic. The animated series New Adventures Etienne the Demon and Batman. I can always get behind Batman animated series action figures.
And of course, Batman has fought ninjas in his time, such as the League of Shadows. And in the Christopher Nolan film, Bruce Wayne was even trained by the League of Shadows. And one ninja character I loved in my childhood was Ninja. I always wanted the figure but never got him. And now we are getting a Masterverse version, and I'm really looking forward to this. I just need a Masterverse Rio Blast now. I hope Masterverse is a possible example of how good potential Mattel DC Universe figures could be, as Mattel makes Masterverse figures, of course. And of course, another character who has fought hand ninjas is Daredevil, and I've pulled this one from the archives. Mini Plastic Multiverse gives us a great pick of the Marvel Legends Daredevil in action, and if you're loving the Daredevil Born Again series on Disney+, grab your Marvel Legends Daredevil figures and go have a play. And we looked at Ninja from Eternia before, and of course the Masters of the Universe franchise has had their share of monsters. And with that in mind, let's look at the Order of the Crimson Moon, and Soldiers of Fortune, two lines that complement Operation Monster Force. Of course, you could have some of the Soldiers of Fortune characters fight your Marvel Legends Daredevil, or any figures in your collection. Soldiers of Fortune is designed for you to make up the lore and storytelling as you see fit.
And tell stories with figures is all part of the fun of collecting. Just look at Cull's Cave and Mikey Moon Boots, who are doing just that with their great toy photography. And everyone I've showcased will have their Instagram links in the comments below.
And that's it. If you've stuck this far in the video, many thanks for watching to the end. Let's have some fun. Go write something in the comments below. Let's pick Taking It Like a Champ. For this episode of Flicks and Figs, although you don't have to, I'm just curious to see who plays along. So what did you think? Any figures that caught your eye that you fancy pre-ordering? Let me know in the comments below, and until next time, enjoy those Flicks and Figs.